Our voice in the world.
This is the English service of Radio Algeria International. It's time for the news.
The President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmadjid Tebboune, has stated that the success achieved during the 2025 edition of the Fair of the Intra-African Trade Fair, IATF, is the result of the collective mobilization of all sectors and foreign partners, reiterating Algeria's sovereign choice not to resort to external debt. The International Committee for Breaking the Siege on Gaza announced that the Israeli occupation army stormed today, Friday, the last ship of the Global Sumud flotilla and seized it while it was sailing in international waters on its way to the Gaza Strip. And the group Gen Z 212, leading Morocco's mass protest, called today for the government's dismissal following days of unrest that have seen the deaths of 3 people. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail from Radio Algeria International. First in our news, the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmadjid Tebboune, has chaired a meeting at the Abdeltaif Rahal International Conference Center in Algiers with economic operators to consolidate the success of the 4th edition of the Intra-African Trade Fair held in Algeria last September. On this occasion, the President stated that the success achieved during the 2025 edition of the fair is the result of the collective mobilization of all sectors and foreign partners. The President of the Republic recalled that this fair constituted a real opportunity for economic operators from Africa and around the world to discover Algeria. Let's listen to the President of the Republic.
يأتي هذا اللقاء يعني بعد ما مضينا مع بعض 3 سنوات وإحنا نبحث على رواج البضائع والإنتاج الوطني، حتى جاءت فرصة المعرض الأخير للتجارة البينية الإفريقية، والذي كان فرصة أتيحت للمتعاملين الاقتصاديين لإبراز وبصفة ماشي لا تجذب الأنظار، بصفة اللي خلات الجزائر تكتشف من جديد من طرف إفريقيا والأشقاء الإفريقيين وحتى من الدول الأخرى، لأن ما ننساش باللي ما بين العارضين وما بين الحضور كانت 21 دولة خارج إفريقيا اللي شاركوا معنا في المعرض.
In the same context, President Tebboune stressed the need for operators to honor the commitments made regarding the agreement signed during the 4th edition of the fair to increase efficiency and to seize all available economic opportunities in Africa.
النجاح الباهر الذي حققناه معا ما لازمش يخلينا نمر الكرام على هذا المعرض، فجاء وقت تركيز والتطبيق لكل ما اتفقتم عليه مع أشقائنا الأفارقة وغيرهم. إذن لازم استمرارية في العلاقات، وأظن أن اللي زاروكم واللي اتفقتوا معاهم واللي مضيتوا معاهم ينتظروا كذلك في خطوات أخرى، تبقى علاقات دائمة بيناتكم، ما هيش علاقات ظرفية مضينا وقع على خير. مكانة الجزائر تقتضي أن يكون مستقبلا انطلاقا من هذا المعرض أن يكون تواجد نتاع الجزائر فعلي ومكثف في كافة إفريقيا.
The meeting also provided an opportunity to address various economic issues, an occasion for the President to reiterate Algeria's sovereign choice not to resort to external debt.
تعرف قدراتها في كل ميادين. الجزائر رغم كل التكهنات السلبية، كل ما كانوا يقولوا علينا رانا في السنة السادسة وما مشيناش للاقتراض، ما نتسلفش، اللي عندي نحاول كيفاش يكفيني. إلا كان لازم مشاريع اللي تتطلب 10 سنين 15 سنة نمشي عند صناديق نتاعنا لإفريقيا ولا ما فيش مانع، أما باش الحياة اليومية ولا هذا الاستثمار اليومي ولا هذه ما كانش الاقتراض.
Before the business, industrial, and investment leaders gathered in large numbers, the head of state was clear: raw materials are the top priority for the state, emphasizing the absolute necessity of not hindering productive momentum through delays or administrative blockages.
يقول لكم المواد الأولية نتاعكم هي أولوية الأولويات، وراني نقول في هذا السيد الوزير الأول وراه وزير التجارة الخارجية يسمع، ما نبغيش مصنع ينقص رقم الاعمال تاعو شيف دافير لان ما خليناش يستورد لا ماتير بريمير. لا ماتير بريمير هي اون بريوريتي دي بريوريتي. الشيء اللي ماشي الاقتصاد واللي يخليك نتايا باش غدوه كلمتك ما تطيحش مع الشركه الافريقيه اللي تعاقدت معها ولا الدوله الافريقيه. رانا هنا سي فو ديفي امبورتي 2 فوا بلوس ماتير بريمير امبورتي 2 فوا بلوس.
The Algerian president highlighted Algeria's ability to generate foreign currency outside of hydrocarbons, reaffirming his commitment to continuing efforts towards a diversified and competitive economy.
تعرفوا الجزائر كما نعرفها أنا ولا ربما تعرفوها خير مني لأن راكم في الميدان. عندنا وسائل وإمكانيات تاع الدخل بالعملة الصعبة أكثر من البترول. إذا عرفنا نتصرفوا في الفوسفات نتاعنا وعرفنا نتصرفوا في الحديد نتاعنا، عرفنا نتصرفوا في الزنك والبلون نتاعنا وفي لاباريت وفي غيرها، on va équilibrer. شي اللي ما جابوش الغاز بترول تجيبها للمناجم نتاعنا والصناعة المنجمية، الصناعة المنجمية ما نبيعهاش بريت.
And the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmadjid Tebboune, addressed the Intra-African Trade Fair again, announcing that the committee responsible for monitoring this fair will be under the supervision of the Prime Minister.
أنا راني نقول فيها السيد الوزير الأول اللي يتخلى على الواجبات تاعو مع المنتجين راه حسابنا معاه يكون ثقيل، محتاج أرض يدي الأرض، محتاج هذا بلا مزيتي ولا بلا مزيت أي واحد، هذا الاقتصاد الوطني يتطلب هذه الأمور. هذه اللجنة اللي درناها مع وزارة التجارة الخارجية لتنسيق ومتابعة المعرض نتاع التجارة البينية الإفريقية يتحول تحت إشراف الوزير الأول، ما بقاش في التجارة.
For his part, the president of the Algerian Council for Economic Renewal, CREA, Kamal Moula, reaffirmed the commitment of Algerian business operators to effectively implement the contract signed during the fourth edition of the Intra-African Trade Fair, IATF 2025, which totaled $11.4 billion, after requesting rigorous monitoring of the commitments and opportunities arising from the fair's contracts. The president of Korea stated that the successful implementation of these agreements will strengthen customer confidence and contribute to consolidating Algeria's economic position in Africa. The Minister of State, Minister of Foreign Affairs, the National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Mr. Ahmed Attaf, received on Thursday at his office the Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the sisterly state of Qatar, Mr. Ahmed bin Hassan Al Hamadi. A statement issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that the meeting provided an opportunity to review the outcomes of the second round of political consultations, which took place earlier in the day under the co-chairmanship of the two foreign ministers. The meeting highlighted the significant progress made in strengthening fraternal relations and partnership between the two countries and reaffirmed the need to continue joint efforts to further enhance bilateral cooperation towards the ambitious goal set by the leaders of the two countries, namely President Abdelmadjid Tebboune and Emir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. The Secretary of State at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in charge of African Affairs, Ms. Selma Bakhta Mansouri, will participates in the 22nd meeting of foreign ministers of Africa and Northern Europe or Northern European countries, held yesterday and today in Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe, under the theme Innovation for Impact, Harnessing Technology and Cooperation for Future-Ready Societies. According to a Foreign Ministry statement, the meeting constitutes a framework to strengthen dialogue between Africa and Northern European countries on issues of peace and security, investment and trade, as well as entrepreneurship and the role of innovative youth. It's worth recalling that Algeria hosted the 20th edition of this ministerial meeting in 2023 in her intervention during the Youth or the Young Innovators Program or Forum. Ms. Mansouri stressed that the strength of Africa lies in its youth, highlighting the Algerian model based on free education at all levels. She emphasized that investment in education must be accompanied by supportive policies and innovative financing mechanisms that open up opportunities for young people to access the job market and transform the innovations into viable business projects. In this context, she pointed out the announcement made by President Abdelmadjid Tebboune during the Intra-African Trade Fair, IATF 2025, regarding the creation of an African fund to support startups and young entrepreneurs, which represents an Algerian initiative to provide all real opportunities for African youth to implement their ideas and transform them into scalable projects. She also emphasized that the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, is a strategic tool that opens markets for young people and provides them with opportunities to expand their businesses. The importance of parliamentary diplomacy as an effective tool for strengthening partnership between Algeria and the European Union was emphasized during the second meeting of the Algeria-EU Joint Parliamentary Committee held in Brussels, Belgium on Thursday. Jamal Salmani has more details.
A statement of the National People's Assembly indicated that the meeting chaired by the head of the Algerian delegation, Mr. Said Ahmed Tamari, and the head of the European delegation, Mr. Ruggiero Ras, allowed for a frank and constructive exchange of views on various issues of common concern, reflecting the common will to consolidate relations between the two sides. During the meeting, Mr. Tamari reiterated Algiers' strategic importance placed on its relations with the European Union, considering them unique based on geographical proximity and historical, cultural, humanitarian, and economic ties. Marking more than 20 years since the entry into force of the partnership agreement, Mr. Tamari stressed the need for a joint evaluation of this agreement in order to address any imbalances and restore a balance of mutual interest by activating dialogue and consultation mechanisms, strengthening and diversifying economic cooperation, and promoting people-to-people relations. For his part, Mr. Ruggiero Ras emphasized that both sides face common challenges in the areas of security, economy, and migration, which requires strengthening the partnership based on mutual understanding and respect in a way that serves the highest interest of both parties and contributes to stability and development in the Euro-Mediterranean region. He pointed out that Algeria is a key partner for the European Union and an influential regional player in Southern Europe and the Mediterranean region.
To the Middle East now, where the International Committee for Breaking the Siege on Gaza announced that the Israeli occupation army today, Friday, stormed the last ship of the global Sumud flotilla and seized it while it was sailing in international waters on its way to the Gaza Strip. Jamal Salmani develops.
A live broadcast from the ship Marinette showed the moment an Israeli naval boat intercepted it and soldiers boarded the vessel. In a post on its Instagram page, the flotilla stated that Marinette, the last remaining ship of the global Sumud flotilla, was intercepted by the occupation forces. Meanwhile, China has called for ensuring the delivery of humanitarian assistance to the besieged Gaza Strip following the Israeli attack on the global Sumud flotilla, which was carrying aid to the territory. A statement from the Chinese Foreign Ministry said the ministry is closely monitoring the situation and stressed the need for all parties to adhere to United Nations resolutions and work toward an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. For his part, Belgian Foreign Minister Maxime Prévost announced that he summoned Israel's ambassador to Belgium following the attack on the global Sumud flotilla in international waters. In a post on X, Prévost described the incident as a matter of serious concern. He added that 7 Belgian citizens are among those detained and emphasized that securing their prompt return to Belgium is a top priority. This came as over 28 Palestinians were killed by Israeli airstrikes and gunfire, targeting several areas of the Gaza Strip since early Friday, according to medical sources. Hospitals reported receiving the bodies of the victims, 16 at Al-Ahli Baptist Hospital, 12 at Al-Nasser Hospital, 8 at Al-Shifa Medical Complex, and 2 at Al-Auda Hospital. Simultaneously, dozens of civilians, most of them children, were wounded, some critically, in another Israeli attack on a gathering near Omar al-Mukhtar Street in Gaza's Old City.
And finally, the group Gen Z 212, leading Morocco's mass protest, called today for the government's dismissal following days of unrest that have seen the death of 3 people. The demand came after fresh demonstrations demanding reforms to the health and education sectors took place across the kingdom yesterday, Thursday, a 6th consecutive day of largely peaceful protests marked by a spate of violence. The group, whose organizers remain unknown, also demanded the release of all those detained in connection with the peaceful protest. The rallies across the usually stable country have been fueled by anger over social inequality, particularly following reports last month of the deaths of 8 pregnant women at a public hospital in the city of Agadir. Many Moroccans feel that the public health and education sectors should be improved as the kingdom pushes forward with major infrastructure projects to host the African Cup of Nations in December and part of the 2030 World Cup. And with this last piece of news, we come to the end of this news bulletin. Time now for weekly programs with my colleague Jamal Salmani and Asya Bakar. As for me, I'll meet you again tomorrow for a fresh edition of our news bulletin. Until then, stay tuned and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Welcome to your weekly program Destination Algeria. I'm Jamal Sameni. There are a number of great destinations in Algeria just waiting to be discovered. A curious mixture of cultures and influences, Algeria has something interesting to see in just about every city. The country is also the first largest on the African continent, so you can be sure there are plenty of towns and cities to visit. Let's visit Algeria's fascinating destinations, you and I together. The small settlement of Jijel is located in the northeastern region of Algeria and is the administrative center and capital of the Jijel province. It is not a bustling city or town filled with nightlife and noteworthy tourist attractions. Jijel is more a resort settlement that does have a few important industries, but is a peaceful destination. In Algeria, where tourists spend most of their time relaxing on the breathtaking beaches. Jijel was originally established as a trading post that changed ownership from the Phoenicians to the Romans, onto the Arabs, and even fell into the hands of the legendary pirate Khayr ad-Din Barbarossa. Of course, most of the existence of these eras and the occupation by the French was destroyed by the 1856 earthquake that left nothing but memories and devastation in its wake. Today, the town of Jijel has a permanent population of approximately 100,000 that concentrates mainly on the production of agricultural products and fishing. 3 larger industries, namely cork production, steel making, and leather tanning, have managed to flourish in Jijel. The cork production industry has led to the town being surrounded by vast cork tree plantations, bringing life to the landscapes. Another industry that has become vital to Algeria is the Jijel Tannery. It is the leading producer of furniture, leather crafts, and footwear in the country. Important establishments such as a mosque, hospital, and the University of Jijel are available in the town. The only noteworthy site in Jijel is the Phoenician tombs, located outside the town. These fascinating historical structures managed to survive the earthquake. Other than that, the greatest attractions to the town are the abundance of natural wonders, wildlife, birds, and the beautiful beaches. The town is mostly visited by Algerian locals who enjoy the peace and tranquility that is found there. Every so often, a foreign visitor will arrive to appreciate this scheduled getaway. Jijel can be reached by road from Algiers, Constantine, Bijaya, and Stif. The rugged landscape of the town and the magical opportunity to explore an area that has been left virtually untouched is an adventure. And being able to completely break away from the usual tourist destinations in Algeria and walk off the beaten track is a chance that should not be passed up. Welcome back. You're listening to Destination Algeria. This is the English service of Radio Algeria International, a program devoted to discovering Algeria, a fascinating tourist destination. In the second part, I tell you about Qal'at Ibn Salama and Ibn Khaldun. The ancient fortress of Qal'at Ibn Salama is situated on a hill near present-day Tiaret, southwest of Algiers, the capital city of Algeria. As a military fortress, Qal'at Ibn Salama no doubt served the purpose of protecting the people in the area from foreign invaders. However, the historical fact that Qal'at Ibn Salama is most recognized for is that Ibn Khaldun took shelter there between 1375 and 1379. It was during these 4 years that he began to compose his renowned Muqaddimah, the first volume of his book on the subject of universal history. Ibn Khaldun was a famous scholar, historian, theologian, and statesman who was born in Algeria's neighboring country Tunisia in the year 1332. Ibn Khaldun stood out among his peers as a forward thinker with regard to sociology, demography, historiography, cultural history, the philosophy of history, and modern economics. Ibn Khaldun anticipated many elements of these disciplines, especially relating to social sciences, centuries before they were founded or put into practice. This has led to many learned people considering him to be the true pioneer or father of these disciplines. Ibn Khaldun was born into an Andalusian family, which was considered to be socially upper class. Around the middle of the 13th century, his family immigrated to Tunisia, where some of his family members held political office. Ibn Khaldun states in his autobiography that he was able to trace his descent through an Arab tribe, specifically the Hadramaut from Yemen, right back to the time of Muhammad. His family's high social rank gave him the opportunity to study with the best teachers in North Africa at the time. Ibn Khaldun pursued a political career as many of his family had before him. In the politically volatile climate of North Africa at the time, he soon developed the art of diplomacy, learning to intercept political changes and adapt swiftly to changing circumstances. His political skills, along with the good relationships he had forged with the Berber tribes, made Ibn Khaldun valuable to the North African rulers. In 1375, he was sent on a mission to the Dawadiya tribes by Abu Hammu, the Sultan of Tlemcen. He sought refuge with the Awlad Arif Berber tribe in Qal'at Ibn Salama in central Algeria. He remained there for close on 4 years, enjoying the protection of his host. He took advantage of this time to write the Muqaddimah, but lacking the text, he needed to complete the work. In 1378, he returned to Tunisia, where he devoted himself to completing his history of the word. Certainly, Ibn Khaldun's autobiography has all the ingredients of high adventure, complete with political glory, imprisonment, and exile. Should you have the opportunity to visit Qal'at Ibn Salama in Algeria, take some time to reflect upon some of the history latent to the ancient stone walls.
Algiers is the capital city of Algeria. The city is rich in Algerian tradition and history, with numerous monuments, museums, historical buildings, and other places of interest for tourists to visit. One of the fascinating sites to visit in Algiers is the ancient Kechaoua Mosque. Situated in the Kasbah of Algiers, the Kechaoua Mosque has a long and interesting history. During the rule of the Ottoman Empire, the Kechaoua Mosque was strategically placed at the center of the city, at the point where the roads from the lower Kasbah led out to the 5 gates of the city. This was a district that contained grand family palaces owned by the wealthy and influential political and commercial figures of the Ottoman Regency. During the 16th and 17th centuries, the Ottoman Empire dominated territory in 3 continents, including large areas of southeastern Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Remnants of the Ottoman Empire's influence are still found in architecture throughout these territories. It is believed, but not proven, that a mosque had occupied the site of the Kechaoua Mosque since the 14th century. However, the only documentation of the mosque's existence is a notarial document dated in 1612. According to the commemorative inscription, the Kechaoua Mosque was rebuilt by Hassan Pasha in the latter part of the 18th century. In 1838, the mosque became the Saint Philippe Cathedral, and in 1940, a cross was placed on top of the building under the direction of Marshal Sylvain Vallée of France, the conqueror of the Algerian city of Constantine. In 1962, the cathedral was converted to the Kechaoua Mosque. Overlooking a public square, the mosque has twin minarets rising up either side of the 3-arched entranceway. The mosque is of a Byzantine and Moorish design with graceful archways, black and white marble columns, and beautiful decorations throughout. A tomb with the remains of San Geronimo is housed in one of the mosque chambers. The Kechaoua Mosque, this mosque turned cathedral turned mosque, bears testimony to the history of Algiers. It also serves as a symbol of the restitution of the Kechaoua Mosque to Islam, and is seen as having significant religious and cultural importance. Visitors to the Algerian capital of Algiers should include the Kechaoua Mosque on their list of interesting places to see.
مع إذاعة الجزائر الدولية لن تفوتكم لحظة واحدة من الأخبار السياسية والاقتصادية الهامة. إذاعة الجزائر الدولية، صوتنا في العالم.
إذاعة الجزائر الدولية تنقل إليكم صوت الجزائر، تضعكم في الصورة وترسم لكم الطريق عبر محللين مختصين ومراسليها في العالم.